Okay, local swell tracker is going to start off with the weather because that's going to be a major feature, probably more important than the waves. Here it is right here. This is the wind pattern. A big front with its weather moving down the island chain. All the advisories posted. It's going to get wet over the weekend as this shows as time rolls on. That low has been pulling the southerly winds up from underneath us, and that won't be passing away until about Wednesday when we see the north winds. The trophiness and that low that you see over here now, this is when it relooped, is bringing in lots of weather, southerly winds, and it's going to be stalling for a while. So I just thought I'd show you that. It's pretty nuts. Now we're going to get into some surf. This was last Friday, a week ago. This is the guy that brought us in some really big waves, doing a little bit of hindcasting for you. That was the last fatty that we saw get 10 to 12 plus. And then next up, last Sunday, we get the swell producer for this Saturday. It came in two portions. Here's the big spinner, about in the 290, 310 band relative to Hawaii. Anything under 294 is a partial shadow from Ni'ihau and Kauai. Here we are over here in the most geographically isolated land mass on the planet. And that big spinner has two portions. It spins off of here. That was already registering on the buoys, 14 to 17 seconds. That'll be 2 to 3 plus in the morning and building 2 to 4 plus in the afternoon. The second portion of it was right there. Now, this one crossed the date line, got a lot closer. It wasn't as powerful or as big, but it was closer, so less distance traveled, meaning less swell decay time. Swells lose about half of their open ocean swell height every 1,000 miles traveled. At the date lines, about 1,200 miles off to our west. That guy gets on the other side of it. That'll keep us reinforced in the 3 to 5 foot range if we're lucky on Sunday morning. It'll fade from Monday and Tuesday. So that's the little hindcasting because you don't see any of this on today's models. Okay, now let's take a look at a hindcast for the south swell that we've been seeing. This is going back a week from today, Friday the 12th. And we see a little bit of a fetch off of New Zealand that has been bringing us in our 3 foot waves as well as a south-southeast swell and local winds. Now, most of it's very zonal or west to east down here. We like it when they point up towards the equator, as this portion does last Tuesday the 9th. Now, this will probably bring us in some background swell of 1 to 2, 2.5 on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It's very weak winds. We need some 45 knot winds, and that's barely doing it. Yeah, you see this guy over here bringing giant waves into Chile. Big storm surf is very regular this time of year down there. Now let's bring you to the current models. So we click in the animations. You can see that guy right here will be bringing us in that south-southeast about 8 days from today, so next weekend. It's a little iffy on those southeast. They're not really pointed towards us. There's a big storm here, but it's zonal. It goes down by the Ross Ice Shelf and is already out of our swell window as it brings waves over to Chile. Then the last bit of the model shows a storm off the east coast of New Zealand. A little bit of that fetch is pointing up towards us to be bringing us in some waves about 14 days from now. We're in a relatively quiet period. Now, let's take a look at the North Pack. You see this trophiness right above us? That's the front. That's the weather. Big, robust high pressure off to our northeast has brought us in solid 3 plus wind waves. It's also helped Sandy Beach and Diamond Head have some waves, but this is the area that has pulled in the southerly winds and lots of weather. Clicking in the animations further, we'll show you the next swell event with a captured fetch when the center of the storm track points in the same direction as its fetch on its southwest flank. That'll be bringing us in some waves for next week, Wednesday/Thursday. And we're hoping for that one to get up in the 4 to 6 foot range at sunset. After that, we quiet down. The jet stream. Okay, let's stop it here for a second. The jet stream dips right down on top of us, bringing in, again, what we're looking at, the southerly winds, the weather, and all the associated rain. That's going to stall. It's pretty robust. It sticks around. We don't get our trades back till next Thursday. There's the jet stream on our side of the date line, bringing us in some waves for, again, the middle to late next week. And the jet stream is doing its things for spring. It's weakening. After that, there's nothing on the charts. Down under, we have 2 branches. None of them are very good. None of them are bringing any real swell. It's all pretty much background with a chance of some south-southeast swell. There's also some Taz Sea swell mixed in there. The very end of the model run showing next weekend a meridional flow to the jet stream right hugging the east coast of New Zealand that's hopefully going to be developing a better storm within it. The jet stream will enhance and steer these low pressures if we're lucky. So we have some hope for about 2 weeks out for something what I would call more of a real swell where it gets overhead. That's a long shot. As far as the hand-drawn surface charts, there's the high pressure for the wind waves we've seen the last several days. It's going to hover through Saturday and then begin to fade. These low pressures here and their trailing front are going to pretty much stall, bring a lot of weather, and not allow our trade winds to come back till next. Well, Wednesday is supposed to be the northerly winds after the frontal passage. And then after that, regular trades by next Thursday. Here comes the next high pressure, and the lows are getting weaker. The upper regions, 20,000 feet up, showing that we are in a lot of moist air and will be through Saturday, will probably be the peak. And the brown regions are showing the more stable air all around us. We drill down, you can see that low pressure is pulling up the southerly winds. That's not going anywhere. Highs about 80, feels warmer, it's very muggy. Lows about 70. And all in all, pretty mediocre swell. Comes that rain, we're really going to hit Kauai hard first, and then us on Oahu and move down the island chain. And that's the local swell tracker. We're praying for insane surf again, but all in all, April has been way above average for the country. We should be grateful. Aloha for now.